I was just back from work and heading into the kitchen for a drink when I heard the sound of James complaining. My feet were already in motion. I didn't have a chance to take cover. I just hoped whatever he demanded this time, it wouldn't be too terrible. To my surprise, it was Ashley that he was scolding.
Took the last apple from the bowl.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't realize. Would you like me to get some more?
Yeah, that'd be good.
He fished around in his pocket, dislodging a wadded-up receipt in the process.
Here, money. Be sure it's done by morning.
All right. Amalia, did you want something?
While I stood there like a rabbit, James oozed past me and out of the room. I was just going to pour myself some orange juice?
Oh, I can do that.
Humming to herself, she pulled down a tall glass from the cabinet overhead. Does anything ever break your cheerful facade?
Half glass or full?
You don't have to do that. You pour drinks for people all day.
I don't mind, really.
But she handed me the glass and neatly stepped out of my way.
Since you're not paying for your order, you don't need me to measure the amount.
She smiled at me, but I couldn't understand why. Yeah, how are you so nice all the time?
What? Shouldn't I be nice to you? You're nice to me.
Well, thanks. But, I mean, James. He's so nasty all the time. And it's his job to stock the breakfast food, not yours, but...
Oh, the apples! I'd better get going. Would you like to come along?
Run errands with Ashley? They weren't even her errands. Not this time, girl. I'll catch you later. Sorry, I just got back from work. I was looking forward to sitting down for a bit.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll see you later, all right? Bye-bye.
She skipped out of the room like a fairy tale child carrying a basket into the woods. I liked her suggestive eyebrow smile, though. That was nice. In early February, Danny's soccer team had their first match. He formally invited the entire hostel to come see it if they wanted, but let everyone know he wouldn't hold it against them if they didn't show up. Not surprisingly, not everyone wanted to go. In the end, Ashley, Peggy, and I walked to the park together, tiny flags in our hands. Ashley was such a nice girl that she couldn't possibly turn down the invitation, but Peggy seemed particularly excited about cheering for Danny. Oh no, I'm stepping into something, aren't I? I knew Peggy and Danny were good friends, but seeing the way they interacted... Well, I gotta be jealous of... Right? I am thinking about that logically, right? Just in case I'm not. Like, just in case. Whoops, what did I do? Yeah, like I should be jealous of her. Like I'm jealous that, he might like her, right? Not, and then for her, if I was pursuing her, I would be like, I'm jealous of him. I think. Let's see. I couldn't help but want to be the one whose cheers pumped him up the most. Okay, yeah, I was thinking, I overthought that way too much. After all, Danny was almost the father of the hostel. He was always looking after everybody. Okay, so you want to be the one who cheers up your father the most? Is that what you're saying? Well, in fact, from everything I knew about him, he seemed almost unrealistically perfect. He was smart, kind, thoughtful, attractive, and super fit on top of that. Not that I'd seen much of his body. I mean, it wasn't like I walked around the hostel hoping for a glimpse. Nope, that would be weird. Right? He rarely procrastinated, had good organizational skills, he was managing a team while keeping up with his schoolwork. He was just generally impressive. He was innate. So, it was natural for me to want to cheer for such a helpful, attractive, and kind man. Wasn't it? Woo! Go, Danny! Danny, now dashing out onto the field for the first time, looked into the stands and saw us. He beamed and waved, and Peggy waved frantically back. I held up a hand and smiled, and then he was in, focused on the game. I took some pictures on my phone, thinking they might be useful at some point in the future. Definitely not to stare at them later in the privacy of my bedroom. Nope. His team won the game, as was expected. Danny the Flawless. So flawless it was almost suspicious. I suppose it isn't fair to be suspicious of him just because he's a great person. There have to be some people like him in the world. I was starting to get suspicious of everybody in our hostel.
Pardon? Did you say something?
Nope. We crossed to the end of the field to congratulate Danny on his win, waiting for him to finish his team's victory speech before approaching. Oh, hello, girl. Danny! You did it! Good job! Peggy jumped into his arms as soon as he turned around. Thanks, Peggy.
Congratulations!
Thank you all for coming. It means a lot to me.
Of course! It's the least we could do. So, are we going to go out for a celebratory drink or something?
No, that's all right. I've got some work to do back at the hostel. Been neglecting my studies a bit.
Really? That's not like you at all. Come on, a little drink wouldn't hurt.
No, I'm fine. He said it firmly, and although he wasn't being rude, his humorless attitude killed the celebratory atmosphere.
Well, okay. That's fine then. I bet we've all got work to do anyways. Are we walking back together?
He shook his head. I have a few other things to do on the pitch. Sorry.
Ah, it's fine. Well, good game. I guess we'll head home then. It was very nice seeing you.
Danny nodded, and Peggy, Ashley, and I headed for the hostel. We got to the edge of the park when I patted my pockets. Something was missing. Oh no, my phone!
Don't tell me you left it back there. Want us to come with you to get it?
No, it's fine. It'll only be a moment, she says.
He's gonna see I took pictures of him.
I dashed back to the field and searched the bleachers where we had been sitting, but found nothing. My panic was rising when I saw Danny waving at me from down on the field, something glinting in his hand. My phone! I ran over to him and he cheerfully dangled it from his hand.
You should really get a better lock on your phone. Got some good shots of me, though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you don't.
Awkward? What should I do? What should I say to make this better and make that creepy face go away? Anyways, congratulations on winning the game. I know I didn't say it earlier. You definitely deserved it. You're a great team captain. You're great at everything. I really admire you. And there it is again. His face darkened and he shook his head.
Don't say that.
Why not? He held up a hand and shook his head.
I don't want to talk about it, but please don't act like I'm a great person. I'm not. I don't deserve it. So don't say it.
All right.
Right. Now aren't the other two waiting on you?
Oh yeah. I guess I'll talk to you later then.
Cheers.
I left the field too wrapped up in what just happened to hurry much.
It's about time. Had trouble finding it.
Yeah, but Danny found it for me.
Oh, how sweet of him. Anyways, let's get back. Ashley says she's going to make some flapjacks to celebrate.
I nodded, not sure whether I should tell her that Danny might not appreciate the celebration. Most people are humble just for show, but something about the way Danny said what he did made me think he sincerely, earnestly believed that there was something wrong with him. But what made him feel that way about himself? What was wrong? Well, we'll dig deeper into that at some point, I guess. He's got some creepy faces, though. I had just changed out of my work uniform and sat down at my desk to write a letter to my mother when... Oh, hello. My door slammed open and Peggy entered walking like a zombie. Peggy, is
something wrong? She looked at me, tears filling her eyes. Oh, Malia. This world is full of heartless assholes who only think about themselves.
Uh-oh, you figured it out? She shot me a glare and I chuckled.
Okay, but what really happened? She cast her eyes down at the floor and started drawing circles with her foot. My petition.
I'm guessing you didn't manage to reach 5,000 signatures? She gave a heavy sniff, confirming my thoughts. Aw, I would hug you, but... I'll save that. Maybe next time?
It'll be alright. This is just a minor setback in the grand scheme of things.
I know you. You'll pull through in no time and find another small way to help save the Earth. We don't have recycling here at the hostel, after all. You could badger James about that. She sniffled, looking oddly fragile for a girl who, on a regular day, could knock down walls.
Do you want to sit down or something?
She nodded meekly, then Zombie walked over to my bed. She fell into it like a lump of clay.
I know I can't give up now, but I'm just so frustrated. Nobody cares, but they should. If they cared a little bit more, the world could be so much better. But they don't want to feel bad, so they don't. There's a little Holocaust going down in North Korea, and does anyone care? No! They're all just worried about their little gardens, while people are suffering. And I can't even blame them, is the sad part.
I nodded and Peggy yawned.
Oh, it's just not fair, and if I could...
Peggy? I glanced at her. She was fast asleep, mouth open on my pillow. Now that I was looking at her, she had heavy bags under her eyes and her hair looked more frazzled than usual. When was the last time she slept? In light of that, I let her have a nap on my bed. At least she didn't snore much. How kind. But then it was nighttime. It wasn't until late that night that Peggy opened her eyes again. Oh, this music.
What? Oh, where am I?
You fell asleep in my room. Mid-sentence, might I add.
Seriously? What time is it? Oh my god, 9 already? I have work to do. I'm way off schedule.
Peggy, how much stuff are you doing?
Not that much. I mean, I'm a chemistry major and I like to study biology in my spare time, so there's a bit of homework from that. And in my part-time job, the volleyball team and the green clubs, and my mates have a band on weekends.
You're doing all of that? How? She shrugged. Well, it's your life, but you might want to remember to put sleep on your schedule, too.
Right. Well, I'd better go. Cheers!
She bounced out of the room, already back at full volume. Just watching her was exhausting. I wished her well, but I knew I could never keep up with her. Anyway, I should get back to work. Speaking of... I crept into the dining area, following my nose. Somebody had cooked something lovely. Hello, everybody. I was met by Aussie, Brendan, Ashley, and to my utter surprise, Chihyo. Ashley looked up and smiled when I came in. Hello, everyone. I glanced at the plate loaded with food in the center of the table. I don't know if, perhaps, I could have some. Ugh. Aussie scoffed and opened her mouth to respond, but...
Of course! The more the merrier!
Aussie glared at me, but shut her mouth. The decision had been made. I smiled at Ashley in thanks, then got some food for myself and took a seat with the others. I hadn't seen much of Jihyo around the hostel, but it didn't seem like I would be able to get to know her very well in this group of people. Aussie and Brendan were deep in a discussion about some spat between a celebrity couple, each on total opposite sides of the debate. Ashley kept trying to make peace, but they were not having it. Jihyo, meanwhile, quietly ate her food and observed. After a while, I drew out Ashley's attention and we began a conversation about different kinds of food we liked and restaurants we had been to. Jihyo didn't join in, but she turned her deep brown eyes on me, and I grew hot under her gaze. It was so intense, like having the weight of 1,000 rocks hung on my shoulders. Despite that, I actually got her to laugh a few times, and Ashley and I had fun. As the conversation went on, I suddenly noticed the rest of the room was quiet. Aussie and Brendan had stopped arguing and were now staring at me. I don't know why, but their stares felt different from Jihyo's. Aussie's especially made me uncomfortable. I did my best to ignore the feeling of being judged and carry on. Eventually, we finished our meal, and I helped Ashley clean up after everyone else left. Thanks for another great meal, Ashley. She blushed and shook her head. No problem. It was an odd evening, but a pleasant one. Did I have something stuck in my teeth? What the heck? Why did they just stare at me? While I was eating breakfast with Mark, Jihyo, and Aussie, James came in.
You.
The yard again? He closed his mouth and nodded.
Bushes need trimming. By tonight or you're out.
He left the room. We traded looks. There weren't a whole lot of bushes around the hostel, so it shouldn't be too large a job, but it was still February, still cold, and this still wouldn't be much fun. We went outside. Mark walked away and returned with 3 pairs of garden shears. He gave one to Jihyo and one to Aussie, then shrugged at me.
There were only 3.
With that, he went to the end of the walkway. Aussie humphed and went to the other, while Jihyo started by the front steps. Well, I couldn't just leave them to it, could I? Who should I help? I can help nobody! Oh, that's probably not a good idea, though. I should help some... Well, you know what? I'm just gonna save over this one again. Overrate. If I say no one, do I interact with somebody else, or does that end the day? If it does, I'm just gonna come back and help Aussie. I shrugged my shoulders and went inside. They had it handled, and I had better things to do. Okay, that just ends it. Alright, load. We gotta try and, you know, fix things with this girl. Let's see if we can. Hey, can I help you with that? Aussie looked at me suspiciously, but held the shears out to me. I took it and began to snip through branches, the wooden handle smooth in my hands.
Why are you helping me?
Well, it's cold and this job sucks. We all want to go inside.
No, why me in particular? Considering...
I had a feeling I knew what she was getting at, but I just shrugged in reply.
Whatever.
She walked away and left me to do the work, but at least she didn't hassle me. Alright, you know what? That was my peace offering to you. I didn't give you an olive branch, but I trimmed some branches. Another chance to explore the city. I set out in the opposite direction as last time, heading for King's Cross Station. Why be in London if you can't see the best sights? Apparently, the station was remodeled at some point recently, but there was still a tourist spot with platform 9 3/4 in it. It was amazing that a series of kids' books made such a big cultural impact they were genuinely memorialized. A familiar woman stood in the middle of the square before King's Cross Station, serenely painting the exterior of the new building. I ducked behind a food cart, despite the fact that I didn't need to. There was more than enough people wandering around. She shouldn't be able to notice me. I couldn't explain why I was doing this either, but something about her intensity intrigued me. Her face contorted this way and that as if she were trying to embody great emotions. But it was just a building in front of her. What exactly was she trying to do? As I watched, her brushstrokes grew shorter and more staccato, and she took more and more breaks to stand and stare at the canvas, cocking her head to the side. Her shoulders hunched up to her ears, and then she began stabbing the canvas with her brush. Uh-oh. She was getting angry. Maybe I ought to do something? Oh, gosh. This one's not gonna go over well. But I don't... Alright, let's go for it. I crept alongside her and watched her stabbing the canvas, probably ruining her brush. Is it dead yet? She jumped.
What? When did you get here?
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
What?
I'm just joking with you. What are you working on? A self-portrait? She did not look pleased.
Clearly not. Clearly not. It's clearly not, right? It doesn't look like a self-portrait. How could it look like a self-portrait? I don't look like that. That's so rude.
No, I didn't. I was trying to mess with you.
Well, you mess with me, all right. You're so insensitive. You don't...
She stopped mid-sentence, suddenly deflating.
I mean, it's all cool, sister.
Sister?
I get your groove, babe. It was a joke. Totally cool. Never mind. I think I'm done for the day. I'm gonna head back.
Did you go into the station to see the platform already?
Yeah, I did that already. Actually, I have an errand to run. I need to leave.
Oh, okay. I got the feeling she didn't want me tagging along. I watched as she packed up her things and tucked the still wet canvas under her arm. I'll see you back at the hostel?
I'm sure you will.
In hindsight, making fun of her painting was a terrible idea. Way to go, Malia. Well, at least I could carry on with my sightseeing. As it turned out, Platform 9 3/4 was nowhere near Platform 9. I only found it because of the crowd of people waiting in line to have their pictures taken running into the wall. Amusingly, the new location was fairly near the station's complaints department for anyone who got too fed up with the whole thing. Sorry, Jihyo. I will be nicer to you one day. I woke up early on Valentine's Day feeling quite lonely. When I was a little kid, Valentine's was a fun day where everyone in class would trade tiny paper cards and candy hearts. But when we were older, it got weird to give Valentines to people who were just your friends. And since I'd never been in a relationship, I'd never gotten a serious Valentine. It was hard not to feel overwhelmed sometimes by all the romantic advertising and decoration around New York City. Buildings flashed red with hearts and roses. Couples posed by the love statue for photographs. Of course, James couldn't be bothered to decorate the hostel for a holiday, so at least there was none of that here. Still, I felt lonely. Jinsu and Nene sent me their best wishes by email, but explained that postage was too expensive, so they didn't bother to mail me real cards. Probably for the best, considering their going-away present. They might think it was funny to send an obscene Valentine. This trip was supposed to be my fresh start at romance. Why was I still alone? I paged through old messages on my phone, feeling more than a little sorry for myself. There was a quick knock at the door, and I slid out of bed to answer it.
Happy Valentine's Day, Malia!
Ashley held a small wrapped package out to me. Aw, Ashley. What's this?
I got you a present! Happy Valentine's!
Ashley, I had no idea. Did this mean she liked me? I didn't get you anything. I feel terrible.
No, don't be silly. I don't want anything in return. All I want is your happiness. Everybody should be happy on Valentine's Day.
At that point, I realized she had a bag slung over her shoulder filled with tiny packages. She is the Santa Claus of Valentines.
I've got to give presents to everyone else. See you later.
So it wasn't because she liked me. It was because she liked everyone. Well, it was still really sweet of her. I shut the door and eagerly unwrapped the present. A small stuffed animal grinned up at me, a bunny with glasses and a red scarf. He looked like a miniature Harry Potter, and I laughed when I saw him. I sat him on the nightstand next to my bed and smiled. Thanks, Ashley. Happy Valentine's to you, too. Aw, that's so cute. I passed by Ashley in the hall. Wait, that was strange. I'm sure that when I first saw her, she was strutting down the hall doing a sachet, as if she were walking down a catwalk. But when I turned to look again, she was walking normally. I guess I just had a weird image in my mind for some reason. Maybe I'm just feeling insecure about how pretty she is. She's really nice, though. Not like Aussie. Ugh, no, don't even think about her. I shook my head and went on my way. Alright. Why you sashaying, girl? This music. I came back to my room to pick up a notebook I had forgotten. Oh. You look like you need sleep. And passed by Danny in the hall. His face was dark, an expression I had seen many times before, actually, but apparently have never seen before on it. He looked furious, but not in a blind rage. He had the eyes of a man plotting a very cold revenge. It was so out of place compared to his normal demeanor that it was almost as if he were possessed. He saw me after a few seconds and smiled. Hey, Malia. Perfectly normal, like nothing was ever wrong, except for the shiver running up my spine. I have to go. I hurried to my room and closed the door. Whatever was wrong and had nothing to do with me, I hoped. Gulp. There was a murder that evening. As Angelo and I were making our way to the elevators, Aussie called out to me. Malia, someone reported a missing mobile after you and Angelo cleaned their rooms. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? What? No, what are you talking about? Oh, nothing. I frowned, but tried to ignore the sinking feeling in my stomach at her sing-song tone. I helped you with the branches! Angelo and I continued to the elevator. As soon as the doors closed, he turned to me. Empty your pockets. What? But I didn't take anything. Empty them. I did as he said, rummaging through the folds of my maid uniform, and suddenly my hand struck something solid. What? I pulled out a small flip phone nestled deep into my uniform. But I didn't... I looked at Angelo, who narrowed his eyes. Give it to me. I did as he said, so scared I couldn't speak. Was I going to lose my job? There must have been some mistake. The elevator doors opened. Angelo went straight across the hall to a potted plant and shoved the phone in there. Don't worry, you're fine. I stared at him, trembling slightly. He shook his head. Forget about it. Let's just get to work. Did Aussie just set me up? And Angelo saved me? So he knew what she was doing to me and he was on my side? A flood of warmth filled my heart again. Angelo! Thank you. Yeah. Just hurry up or we won't be finished in time. Yes, sir! Angelo! But how did... Man, she got deft hands, that Aussie. I was in the library working on some computer problems when suddenly Peggy ran up to me. Don't scream in the library. I knew it was gonna happen. Malia, you have to help me! I was catching up on my homework and I lost track of time and I have these chem exercises and I need the reference book for them and it's an hourly checkout and I'm not done and... I could barely follow what she was saying when she started talking this quickly. The rules say the same person can't renew a reference because if they did, they could hog it and I don't mean to hog it, but I'm not done and can you please go check this out on your card? I paused for a moment while my brain caught up with all of that. I'm not sure that's a good idea. There's usually a waiting list for reference books. If I take it back to the counter, it'll just go to the next person who requested it. Her face fell. But I'm not done. So, keep it until you're done and then return it. You only need another hour, right? The fine won't be that big. Or, actually, if you know what pages you need, maybe you should just photocopy them. Then you can take the book back for the next person. She looked even more distraught, and I tried to figure out my mistake. I guess photocopies are wasting paper, but you can recycle them, right? I don't have any money with me. Oh. I reflexively patted my pockets, but I didn't really have much to spare, considering. Oh, hi, Mark.
Here.
Whoa, Ninja Mark! Where did he come from? He handed a copy card to Peggy.
Get what you need, then bring it back.
Without even waiting for a response, he turned and walked back towards the philosophy section.
Huh. He's not so bad sometimes.
Yeah, maybe you should get together with Mark instead of Danny.
Hey, Malia, you missed a spot.
I did? Where? Oof! I took a pillow to the face, the soft bundle falling to the floor at my feet. Did you really just throw a pillow at me? Oi, what was that for? Angelo's grinning face poked out at me from inside the bathroom.
No reason. The pillow was in the bathtub for some reason, all dry.
Weird. Somebody must be having insomnia.
Or marriage problems.
Yeesh. The relationship between Angelo and me had been steadily improving over the past few weeks. Thankfully, working together was still creating an amicable atmosphere, instead of letting everything Angelo did get on my nerves. After all, he was kind, funny, and very chivalrous. He always carried heavy things for me and cleaned up the more disgusting of the messes patrons left behind, especially in the bathroom. He also took the heat when a customer was angry with us, addressing all complaints, and heading into rooms first when we could tell there were people still inside. Just in case. That wasn't to say he didn't do things that pissed me off, however. And there it is. I love you too much.
Malia, why have you never cooked for me?
Pardon me?
Why haven't you cooked for me? We're close enough for that kind of thing, aren't we? I'm getting tired of eating out all the time, and although Ashley's cooking is nice, I could use a change of pace.
We entered the elevator, heading down to the lobby, and the end of that day's shift. I was already exhausted and just wanted to get home, but now Angelo was saying that I should cook for him too. Where did that even come from? He wants to see if, if he's gonna marry you one day, is your food good enough to eat? Why can't you cook your own meals? The elevator doors closed behind us. Angelo glanced at me in surprise and gave a hearty belly laugh.
Oh, Kara. I do, but it is a woman's gift to cook for the family. You're supposed to take care of and serve us, just as...
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't know what you're talking about with this serving bullshit, but that ain't gonna fly. He looked at me in confused surprise.
But I was saying that it was just as we would do for...
No, I don't want to hear it. I'm not a servant. I'm not a slave. I don't serve anybody except for myself. Not even my children will be served, if I even have them. He's like, no, kids! What?
Malia, you don't want children? What is this nonsense? Children are one of the greatest joys in a woman's life, or a man's. It's what we were designed to do.
So I should give up my own life for that. Why are you telling me what I should want for myself? Finally, it seemed Angelo was losing his patience.
Kara, I did not say any of those things. If you had listened to me for 5 minutes, you would realize that you are being unreasonable, and my opinions are perfectly logical and sound.
Why must you insist on telling me how to live my life, Angelo?
I am not telling you how to do anything. Where are you getting this from? That is far from what I am wanting. I am wanting your happiness, and your happiness is dependent on your fulfillment as a woman, is it not?
I swear to high heaven, Angelo! Suddenly, I noticed faces staring at us. The elevator doors had already opened, and guests were watching us shifting uncomfortably. Oh, come on! Why, you're here? You're never here. This is when you're here? Come with me, you two. Our boss beckoned to us. Evidently, she had been summoned by Aussie, who was smirking nearby. Good God. Angelo and I followed quietly along into the employee lounge, where our boss stared us down.
I think I heard enough of the conversation to understand what was happening. Malia, you should do your best to be less sensitive. Angelo, you should try harder to be more sensitive. What happened here was a matter of cultural differences. You must both try to get along. If you cause another scene like that, you will be thrown out of the hotel. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Shake hands.
I reached my hand out to Angelo, who looked at it as though it was dirty. Regardless, he took my hand very gently in his, turning it over and bowing so it looked more like he was going to kiss it than an actual handshake. Damn it, Angelo.
Very well. You both are off the hook for today. Make sure it does not happen again.
Angelo and I returned to our separate changing rooms in silence. I rushed to get my clothes in order, wanting to leave before him, but he apparently had the same idea, and we emerged from the employee area at the same time. I'm heading this way first.
I've gotta run and get...
Right, be seeing you. I watched Angelo head off in the opposite direction from the hostel, so great was his need to avoid me. Perfect. Wonderful. Fine by me. But how horribly awkward. We'll get through this.